Hello again, sports fans. I'm Michael Hudson.
And I'm Frenzel Faharin, coming to you from Seattle, Washington.
Welcome to this week's EBC Sports International.
Here's what's on the lineup for this episode.
U.S. mayors promote team sports and esports programs.
E3 goes big with the multiplayer mixed reality, gaming gear, and noble causes.
Thomas and Mack new training grounds for global basketball.
Las Vegas Stadium is voted the best in minor league.
Wheelchair basketball gives athletes a phenomenal experience.
Eskimos tame lions in Canadian football.
NFL officials discuss new rules for the 2019 season.
And the highlights from Pacquiao vs. Thurman.
During the 87th annual meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, recently held in Waikiki, delegates conducted a number of forums to discuss best practices and lessons learned on various topics.
One of them focused on cities investing in team sports and even electronic sports. Hawaii correspondent Alfred Asenas with the details.
So sports are really driving a lot of the economy in my region and a lot of the energy and the attraction for why we're becoming a hot place for young, creative people from around the country to come, but also for young people to stay.
Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer explained to Eagle News on how cities can greatly benefit from an expansion of team sports and even leagues for women.
So I chair the task force related to mayors, cities, and professional sports, and that encompasses a lot of different things. At the last conference, we focused on women in sports and had a number of players from the professional women's league here in America, and actually Allie Krager is playing on the national team that just beat France today. And we're going to be focusing on the Play Ball program, which is our partnership with Major League Baseball, trying to expand baseball for youth in all of our cities.
Mayor Dyer even emphasized electronic or video gaming as an actual program for the cities to strongly consider investing in.
And then the other focus today will be on esports, which is electronic sports, so gaming type of sports, and how that has become a very big industry and how cities can get involved in that. So the other thing, the reason we started this is because all of the professional sports leagues, whether you're the NBA or the MLB or NFL, the owners get together and they strategize about deals that they make with cities. So we wanted to have a forum where cities and mayors of cities could strategize about their relationships with major league sports teams.
The mayor of Orlando did acknowledge the challenges for smaller cities with limited resources and capacity, but still offered alternative programs to attract markets such as amateur sports.
Well, not every city is going to have major league professional sports, but all of the sports have minor league versions. So, for instance, Lakeland, Florida, which is near us, hosts a minor league affiliate of the Orlando Magic. So cities can get involved that way, but more importantly in amateur sports. So we host a lot of events in Orlando, whether it's volleyball or tennis, people coming from all over. So there's opportunities for participation, and that's what we're focused on, is having all of the people in our cities have opportunities to be active.
And of course, the mayor of West Sacramento, meanwhile, was able to relate to similar growth opportunities in the sporting industry that Mayor Dyer described earlier.
We're experiencing an explosion of professional sports. So West Sacramento hosts the AAA baseball team for the San Francisco Giants in my city. And then just a few blocks away is the Sacramento Kings basketball franchise. And we're in the hunt.
And as for other U.S. mayors and cities that have yet to avail of these best practices, Orlando's mayor extended this invitation.
Well, number one, I would encourage any city that's over 30,000 to participate in U.S. Conference of Mayors, because it's a good forum to learn. And then secondly, I think city, no matter what size it is, always wants their residents to have opportunities to be active.
Other best practice forums included entrepreneurship for women and minorities, environmental protection measures, housing for the homeless, airport management, and gun control, just to name a few. Reporting from Waikiki in Hawaii, I'm Alfred Asenas, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Alfred. You know, one of the things mentioned in the report I found interesting, Frendel, is even mayors are looking to do esports to benefit the city.
Yes, that's true. It's something new. I mean, we've always heard of the cities giving great importance to professional sports leagues and acknowledging their importance to a town.
Yeah, I mean, right here in Seattle, we know that the big impact that teams like the Seattle Seahawks have in the region, right?
Right. And now esports are making their way to conferences of mayors. I mean, it shows that esports are here to stay.
Definitely. And many times when you hear about esports and gaming in general, E3 makes it into the conversation.
Right. The Electronic Entertainment Expo, or E3 as it's better known, is the largest, most popular event for gaming industry. Our LA bureau was there for several days. Here's their day 2 coverage.
Enjoy.
Our second day at the Electronic Entertainment Expo in Los Angeles, California, sees our team pleasantly plodding through exhibits that you may not necessarily expect to find at a video game convention. Alan, where are we going?
We are going to take a stroll through a garden, but because it's E3, this garden tour ought to be unreal. Oh, and we'll also check out some games today too, which should also be unreal.
The Unreal Garden is a true mixed reality experience. It basically blends the physical, sound, projections, haptics, and augmented reality. So it's the first ever multiplayer, mass consumer location-based AR experience that exists today. But the idea is that you can have up to 40 people in experience, and the interactivity is shared across the board. So you see what everyone else does and everyone sees what you do. But what's even more beautiful is that if you bring people together to actually engage on certain areas with you, then the content becomes even more exceptional. It really is a magical world. So once you put it in the headset, you're going to see everything from flora and fauna from different dimensions, as well as interactive activation points and some incredible projections that are activated once you connect with the AR.
The bag that I'd really like to talk to you guys about today is our core gaming backpack. It could be the traditional person going into work with looks like a conservative backpack, but at a moment's notice, let me go ahead and brag about what I'm doing here. It's designed right here to put a power pack inside of it with a USB connection 3.0 that could come out onto a side port. Here's a place for an iPad. Put a console inside of here, Xbox One, a PS4. Completely opens. We call this the Scan Fast feature, helping you move through airport security. Put a full keyboard inside. Plug it into your laptop and be charging your laptop as you're walking around. A rain cover that's politely tucked neatly, shock absorbing straps on it. And we made sure when you're picking that thing up, extra bolts and rivets on there, make it sturdy as can be.
We all really love video games, and we all love science fiction and fantasy and things like that, and when we're playing those games, we kind of imagine ourselves as those characters, right? We want to be those characters, and so what we do is we make streetwear that will help you feel that way and be that superhero or supervillain every day. This is Dante's coat from Devil May Cry, and I can say that because we actually work directly with Capcom on this one. So this is the designers at Capcom signing off on this jacket and saying if Dante was a real guy, this is the jacket he would wear. And this is not a costume. This is a more subtle, a little more elegant, and a little more functional version of what you see in the video game, inspired directly by that game. So it's our version of what he's wearing in that game.
With an abundance of games to try out, we decided to focus day 2 on racing games.
We have 3 major improvements on the games this year. The first is the car behavior. We have totally shifted to the simulation side. The second is the integration of the dynamic weather. So you can start to race under the sun and finish under the rain. So you have to develop a strategy. And the third big point of the game is the career mode. Totally new. We developed it from scratch. And the goal now is to say you can win the race outside of the race. So you're a driver and a manager, and you are in a sports team.
The LEGO Speed Champions expansion is the second major expansion for the game Forza Horizon 4, which came out last fall. This is the second expansion. If you love LEGO, and if you love cars, and you like playing Forza, it's like a perfect marriage. It's really, I mean, both Horizon and LEGO both celebrate freedom and fun and discovery, and to have the two of them together is just a perfect pairing. And after they play it, they get to sit in this amazing Mclaren Senna, which is made out of nearly 500,000 Lego bricks. Lego and McLaren teamed up to build this car. It took a team nearly 6 months to build. And nearly 500,000 Lego bricks. And it's the first sort of interactive one that they've done where people can get inside and press some buttons and hear the engine. It doesn't really have an engine, but it sounds cool.
This was the first E3 experience for some gamers, and the ones we met with were happy to finally make it to the big show.
Most people, they love video games, so everybody's like connecting, enjoying themselves, and I think it's like a Disney World for gamers.
Borderlands 3 was by far my favorite. Nintendo, the whole everything, Luigi's Mansion. This is my first E3 physically coming here. I usually watch it on the internet, but I've had a blast.
I'm really excited. I can't wait to see some of these games come out. I already know my bank account's going to be a little unhappy with me in a couple months here, but really excited, really happy, and glad that I got to experience this event.
Completing our exploration for the day were scenes that piques the curiosity and tugs at the heart.
Extra Life is a way for gamers to play games and raise money for their local children's hospital. Extra Life was inspired by the life of a young girl whose life was taken from leukemia. Her name was Tori Edmond, and she inspired this program. Gaming is used in many of our hospitals to give that escape and even that distraction during surgery or during recovery. Boston Children's Hospital is one of our hospitals. I know that they do that. They have VR experience, so while the kids are undergoing surgery, they can experience gaming and actually have a faster recovery rate and have less pain and impact due to those surgeries overall.
All right, now, Lou, when the attendees walking through those doors, maybe not the first thing they'll see about your particular setup here is the good cause. Probably the first thing they'll see is that incredible human claw machine over there.
So when you're at E3, you gotta go big, or else no one's gonna notice you. And so we teamed up with GameStop and a huge list of amazing sponsors to provide an experience for the E3 attendees where we can inspire these attendees to become participants to raise funds for their local hospital by strapping them into a harness and literally lowering them into a pit filled with boxes. And there's prizes that they can redeem in each one of those boxes provided by GameStop and a whole list of amazing sponsors, all in the name for awareness and advocacy for the health of children across North America.
While the video game industry continues to prove that it is the future, when it comes to sick children, hopefully someday that will be a thing of the past.
With the efforts of organizations like Children's Miracle Network and their partners, a union of video gaming and healthcare might be the perfect combo in healing more than just a broken body. Reporting from the Los Angeles Convention Center at E3,
Day 2.
This is Eva and Alan for Eagle News, and we are 1 with 25.
Thanks, Alan and Eva. Can't wait for Day 3 coverage.
Up next, Thomas and Mack new training grounds for global basketball.
Las Vegas Stadium is voted the best in minor league.
Wheelchair basketball gives athletes a phenomenal experience.
And later on in the show, highlights from Pacquiao versus Thurman.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. This is EBC Sports International.
We're coming to you from Seattle, Washington. You know, Mike, one of the things I love about the Pacific Northwest is its summers.
Oh man, I agree with you there. Nice and mild, usually in the 70s to 80s and sunny.
Other parts of the country are known for their warm and maybe even scorching weather. Las Vegas is one of those.
Whoa, but this summer it's not only the weather heating up in Vegas. There are so many sporting events happening there as well. One of these is the NBA Summer League. My man Aljamain Santos with the story.
The NBA Summer League is in its 15th year, and it continues to progress as a respectable platform for rookies, sophomores, and coaches alike. In addition to the full participation of the NBA's teams, the national teams from China and Croatia were scheduled to participate in the Vegas tournament. China first appeared in the NBA Summer League in 2007, which featured Yi Jianlian, an incoming rookie, and Wang Jiji, the first Chinese player in the NBA who spent 5 seasons in the league from 2000 to 2005. Head coach Li Nan shares the benefits of the team's summer league participation.
Team China will play the team basketball. We want to fight every lose ball, every game, so we try to breathe through that. Then also, even the high level, we want to compete. We want use those games to getting better, and also our younger player, let them know what is the high level tournaments, games, opponent. We need to getting better and better individually or teamly. Anything they say different, then start from them. They should know how they react from this tournament. Then they need to get better to improve themselves.
The way they play basketball is a little bit different than when they play in China because the ball movement is very important. So they actually increase the speed a little bit, but they still need to find the better way to do the offense and defense at the same time.
Much like the Chinese national team, the Croatians look to gain experience against high-level competition. Goals were set to take the opportunity as a motivator to work harder, said team manager Igor Kolaric. Head coach Veljko Mrsic advised his team to play at their pace and not to give up easy baskets. Marvin Maric shared that he and his teammates showed they can play against these NBA teams. The team finished without a win, but found value in participating and establishing their presence. The sport of basketball continues to stretch its reach through different areas of the world, and for Las Vegas, we get to witness a preview of the NBA's rising stars, but international teams as well. From the Thomas and Mack here at the University of Las Vegas, Nevada, in the fabulous town of Las Vegas, I am Aljamain Santos, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Aljamain. You know what? I can't wait for the next NBA season. I'm so pumped. You know, I'm kind of jealous too, Aljamain, because he got to spend the whole summer with NBA stars. I mean, come on.
Pretty cool. But it's not only basketball that's going on in Vegas. Baseball is also a hit. In fact, the Las Vegas ballpark in Summerlin, Nevada was voted as the best ballpark in minor league baseball. Here's the story.
Las Vegas Ballpark was recently voted as the best ballpark in the minor leagues. It was newly built and completed just this past April. The Las Vegas Aviators are a minor league baseball team and AAA affiliate of the Oakland Athletics. Fans are very excited for what's to come now that the Aviators season is in full swing.
Everything. Being affiliated with the Oakland A's, we're excited it's a new stadium. It's going to bring it closer. It's going to bring us closer to bringing a Major League Baseball team here to Vegas.
Located in downtown Summerlin, the Las Vegas ballpark can seat 10,000 fans. It also features a swimming pool out in center field and a green area out in right field where you can bring your blanket and enjoy the game. There are a lot of food stands and walk areas also throughout the area. Fans are so excited to see what they can find in the ballpark.
Well, since this is the first year here that's been here in Vegas, this is my first time coming over here, they're telling me how wide open and a professional feeling that it really has. For being a minor league ball club, minor league stadium, how the stadium really reflects into the major leagues, into the big. So I'm really kind of excited about seeing how the field opens up. They say when you walk in, it's like like the angels are flying over and singing. So I'm really excited about seeing that. And this is our first game coming over here to the Aviators, so it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a nice experience.
If you come down to Las Vegas in the summertime, definitely check out the Las Vegas Ballpark. From fabulous Las Vegas, I'm your EBC correspondent, Brian Sanson, always 1 with 25.
From Vegas, let's take you to another warm region of the U.S., Florida, where wheelchair basketball took to the court. Take a look.
After 2 previous days of prelims, the wheelchair basketball final games were set. In a surprising result from the prelims, reigning gold medalist Team Army faced off against Team Marine Corps in the bronze medal game. Team Army came out with solid defense and lights out scoring. With less than 7 minutes left in the game, they were up as much as 17 points over the Marine Corps. Despite the Marine Corps slowly closing the gap, Team Army came out on top, notching their 4th straight wheelchair basketball event in the Warrior Games with a medal.
We have a great unit no matter who we have as a team. We had a lot of new guys this time, and we were still able to come together as one, as a group, as a unit, as a family, most importantly, and get it done.
As for the gold medal game, Team Air Force, who placed second last year, faced Team Navy in their attempt to win their first championship in wheelchair basketball. The game was intense from the get-go, with Team Air Force shooting well behind veteran Josh Smith. Team Navy, who dethroned Team Army in the previous matchup, played with tenacity and physicality. They shaved off Air Force's lead to only 1 point with 7 minutes to go in the game. However, with excellent rebounding and shooting, Team Air Force held on and clinched the championship with a 66-60 victory.
We've been chasing gold for wheelchair basketball for a few years now. Came up short last year, and having people like Josh Smith come back to include somebody like Larry Franklin, who hasn't been playing in the games for a few years now, we came out, we were ready to win.
Josh Smith, who was one of the outstanding players of the game, mentioned that their defensive strategy in the first half needed to change up, which eventually got them more scoring ability in the final stretch.
So with about 10 minutes left, we changed up our defense and went to a box-in-one, and I think that helped out quite a bit, being able to focus on locking them down and trying to keep them out of the lane, force some turnovers, finally get some rebounds off of some missed shots. So changing things up a little bit and finally really just grinding out with some defense towards the end to hold on.
With another season in the books, the athletes shared what they valued most in playing in the Warrior Games.
The experience of Warrior Games is phenomenal. All it's doing is growing by the year and getting better and better by the year, bringing in international countries and broadening the public's horizons about their wounded warriors, not what they can't do, what they can do.
It meant a lot of things when I was coming in the first time, because it was basically just meeting a lot of new people, trying new sports that I haven't tried before. But now, this year, it's getting to know everybody's story, getting to know who they are when they were downrange, doing what they were doing, all the sacrifices they made. That was the most important thing and the biggest and my favorite thing that I learned about everybody.
I'm Jay Raskidas, always one with 25.
Those athletes really define what it means to be a warrior. When we come back, Eskimos tame Lions in Canadian football,
NFL officials discuss new rules for 2019 season,
and coverage from Pacquiao versus Thurman.
Welcome back. You're watching EBC Sports International. I'm Michael Hudson.
I'm Frendel Faharin. Thanks for tuning in.
Frendel, we took a look at esports, basketball, even touched a little bit on baseball. Are we missing anything?
Yes. Are you ready for some football?
Wow. Although the NFL season hasn't started yet, our neighbors in Canada are well underway when it comes to their football league.
British Columbia correspondent Anthony Sevilla reports on Canadian Football League action as the Edmonton Eskimos try to tame the BC Lions. Anthony?
Week 5 in CFL action ended with a win on the road for the Edmonton Eskimos over the BC Lions 33-6 at BC Place. Eskimos quarterback Trevor Harris outperformed Lions quarterback Mike Riley. Harris threw for 2 touchdowns on 22 for 28 pass attempts. Riley struggled to generate offense for the Lions, unable to reach the end zone while also giving up an interception. The Edmonton Eskimos outbattled the BC Lions for the second straight week, with huge contributions from the Edmonton's defensive line. After collecting 7 sacks against the Lions in Week 2, BC had no answer for Edmonton as the Lions' offensive line gave up another 4 sacks in Week 5. Edmonton's head coach Jason Moss gave credit to the physicality and tenaciousness of his team's defensive unit.
I just think our guys, we have some good schemes up front that we put in during the week, some different stunts and different things, whatnot. But I think physically our guys just get after people, and that's been our moniker all year. They are tenacious, all of them. And our secondary is doing their jobs too, so it's making the quarterback hold it a bit. And then when he's doing that, our guys are, efforting the way they are, good things happen.
Edmonton's offensive unit also played a huge role in the Week 5 victory, especially from their quarterback Trevor Harris. Harris threw for 2 touchdowns on 276 yards, struggled with an injury in the first half, but was able to shrug it off in the second half to lead his team. Eskimos head coach also acknowledged his quarterback's performance and his efforts to return in order to lead his team.
It didn't look good for him coming back, and he gutted it out the second half, put another knee brace on and gutted it through. And, you got to be, when you're a leader, when you're one of your team leaders is willing to do that, put his body on the line, it says a lot of things. And, for him tonight, that was tremendous. So very, very proud of him. To lay it all out on the line tonight. We talked about it during the week. We said superhuman effort to go in there and take something from somebody, leave it all on the field, and I think Trevor did that tonight.
The Lions head coach Devon Claybrooks showed his disappointment on his team's performance and addressed what changes need to be made and his faith on the team heading forward.
Well, we're going to have to do some self-reflection on ourselves as a staff and everything, and we got to sit down and we got to decide and determine that who's coming, who's executing and who's not. And if the guys are not executing, this is professional football. So if they're not executing, then we got to revisit that and we got to do that, and we'll explore those options as well. It's an embarrassment to us and it's an embarrassment to this organization to put something out there like that on film when it comes down to base things.
The Edmonton Eskimos gained the upper hand against the BC Lions once again, stopping their former quarterback Mike Riley from generating any offense for the Lions, limiting him to just 17 for 26 on pass attempts while protecting the end zone. The Eskimos improved to 3-1, while the Lions find themselves last in the West Division playoff race. I'm Anthony Sevilla for Eagle News, 1-25.
Thanks, Anthony, for the football update.
Being a big football fan, I can't wait for the NFL's upcoming season. The referees recently held a conference about new rules and points of emphasis for the 2019 NFL season.
When it comes to the National Football League, it is not just the players who need training, but also the officials and referees.
So we are here at Renaissance in Plano, Texas to witness the NFL officials clinic on how the shot callers stay on top of their game.
This year's NFL clinic, 122 officials gathered in Plano, Texas to cover new rules and points of emphasis to handle any situation that could arise on game day. Other delegates, such as referees Tony Corrente and Ron Torbert, also shared their insight on the recent rules updates.
I think for us, it's the same as it is for coaches, players, front office staff. It's an opportunity to knock off the rust.
It gives us an opportunity to refine our skills, to adapt to the new rules, whatever they may be, the changes. The playing style has changed, as we've well seen over the past few years, and therefore it gives us an opportunity to prepare maybe for the new players and some of their adaptive skills.
Among the first-year officials in attendance were former players Terry Killens, now umpire, and Nate Jones, now field judge, both of whom share a desire to continue working in football.
I think it's the camaraderie. When we leave the field, that's what we miss, the locker room and all that. And for me, I got it all back when I started officiating because these guys understand what it's like. It might be different. We're not out there just solely on our athletic ability, but just being a part of that group, a team, that's what I missed the most, and I got that back when I got into officiating.
There's situations we've been in, within the game, and we know how we've been coached in the past. We may know what players are thinking at certain times, what coaches are thinking, how to speak to players, just vocabulary, things like that, and just maybe relating and passing on knowledge to some of the officials who are learning, and see if we can
hash out a pretty good product here.
NFL officiating Senior Vice President Alberto Riveron touched upon the subject of letting pass interference or non-calls be challenged by coaches until the final 2 minutes, in which officials could stop the game for such rulings.
Replay starts with the ruling on the field, and unless we have clear and obvious visual evidence to change that ruling, then we stay with the ruling on the field. And this will be no different. It will be no different from a receiver stepping out of bounds. It will be no different from the ball hitting the ground on an attempted catch. This is the same. Replay starts with the ruling on the field and then clear and obvious visual evidence. The competition committee and ownership is constantly looking at ways to get better. We have discussed replay before as it pertains to other situations. Pass interference, holding, personal fouls, but we do understand that play of this magnitude elevated us to the point where we are today. But again, it's not needed. This has been in discussions for a while. And again, and I said, let's get it right. And it's all about getting it right. Our officials are very, very good. However, we always need to get better, want to get better because we owe it to the game. And if this is going to get us there, and it will, then that's what it's all about.
Accuracy is the ambition of the officials, regardless of any sport.
Reporting from Plano, Texas, this is Nanita Manawis with Eagle News 1 Week 25.
Thanks, and now to one of the biggest sports stories this week. Manny Pacquiao versus Keith one-time Thurman.
Let's go back to Las Vegas, where what some would consider the biggest fight of the year just happened.
The MGM Grand Garden Arena has been the host for many historical fights, and tonight is another one to add to the list of greats. The two fighters battled in a 12-round bout, concluding in a split decision after a grueling fight and continuous barrage of leather. From both fighters, Manny Pacquiao was declared the winner and claimed the welterweight title. Fans shared their reaction with fellow EBC correspondent Julian Senna after witnessing this tale of experience over youth.
I think it was a good fight. Manny showed up and he did a great job in the early rounds. And I think if Manny would have stayed active a little more, he probably would have knocked him out, but he's 40 years old. Just keep moving forward for Keith. It's just a setback. Manny, press Floyd one more time and see if we can get around a rematch.
Manny dominated the whole fight from beginning to end. The decision I don't agree with. They called it a split decision. It should have been unanimous, but in the end, Pacquiao won, so it's all that really matters. There's always politics. There's always something going on. You know, you would think it's unanimous, and then it could turn around. I mean, I got scared thinking they were going to announce Thurman the winner by split decision, which was, I know the place would have erupted if that really happened, but, you know, the right decision was made, but it should have been unanimous. Manny Pacquiao's 40 years old. I'm 40 years old. You know, people question if he still got it. He's definitely got it. I mean, he could keep on going for another couple years.
History will have a place for these two fighters tonight. One will go into history with a loss, and the other will go down in history with the title. From the MGM Grand Garden Arena in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, I am Valerie Gonzalez, and I am 1 with 25.
Wow, so that was just another historic win by Pacquiao. That was just absolutely amazing.
Right, and even at 40, he can punch and jab just like the younger one.
Oh, man. Well, hey, thanks for joining us today for EBC Sports International, guys.
We loved bringing you this week's episode of EBC Sports International.
Make sure you join us next week for more sports news.
But before then, visit us at our websites, www.eaglenews.net
and at www.eaglenewslive.com.
Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com, Eagle News.
And on Twitter, twitter.com/Eagle News.
Thanks for watching.
I'm Michael Hudson.
And I'm Fentel Heron.
And we are 1 with 25.